trinity. So first you have to unify the duality of love and fear within your lower self, healing your traumas. Once you do that, you cross your rainbow bloody bridge, your chakra crossing, healing your shit, and then sending into and slowly, hopefully, anchoring into your higher self, the big I, then realizing, oh my god, this is just another identity, and that has to be unified too, because you don't want to get stuck in any level, because you're not really free to flow then. You're not really going to flow, because you're still identified. So you integrate the higher self. Then once you do that, you shift into your awareness, just the pure awareness, the no I. There's no ego, just pure isness, the mirror. Once you live in that for a while, God, that's like fucking freaky. If anyone can get through that, you deserve a medal. Because if you're not put in a mental institution, you're definitely a master. You are definitely an ascended master. I'm telling you. If you can get through, well, you're not really ascended yet. That's the thing, but you're a master, right? If you can get to that mirroring stage, that you can live in that and really understand that and work it out for yourself and see how that really truly unfolds. Because that's only possible, that perspective is only possible when you truly rest as just pure awareness, right? It's not possible, not even from the higher self, the soul sort of perspective. Like it knows that, because it knows that the soul does know that. So from the higher self, you get glimpses. So it's like from the lower self, you can still touch your higher self, right? But from the lower self, you can't even imagine what just pure awareness is. It's so far, because you haven't even crossed the bridge to your higher self, and the higher self is kind of the link between your lower self and just pure awareness. So that's the midpoint, but you're not really unified yet. Because there's a lot of unifying to be done. First, in the lower self, you have to unify the duality of love and fear. Then you have to unify the duality of lower self, higher self. Then you have to unify the trinity. Then you have to unify the duality of higher self and awareness, right? Because that's another duality you have to unify. Because then once you shift into your higher self and anchor into your higher self, only then can you start shifting into the pure awareness, right? Only once the higher self is truly integrated, the spiritual ego is truly integrated, then you can actually shift into the pure awareness. Once that happens, life gets crazy, as I said. Congratulations. But, if you're here, there's no fucking choice, I'm guessing, because you've just surrendered and it's just been thrust upon you. Because you wouldn't choose, well, I wouldn't have. I'm happy it all unfolded the way it did, but no, I guess I would have. You would have. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, so you have to unify the trinity. So that needs to take place. So then how does that happen? Well, for me, I just lived as a mirror. I can only speak from my own experience. But once you live as awareness, as nothingness, as void, because that's what it feels like, because it's got no ego. So from that level of awareness, you've got no ego. From that pure consciousness, there is no ego, that pure awareness, that isness. You just are. Everything just is. But from that level, it's a very strange perception, especially for someone or an individual that's identified, because it's losing all identity. Even your higher self, it's like, makes you feel sick, like literally. Like I nearly vomited. I vomited once actually, but I nearly vomited a few times because the vibration was so high and the realizations were so full on, and the letting go was just complete surrendering, that I was like throwing up and just feeling so sick. I had weeks. I just listened to an old recording where I had weeks of just being dizzy. And I had all these body sensations, and I went to doctors and everything. Nothing was wrong, you know. And yeah, it's just these levels of awareness as you start shifting into them, into these higher states of consciousness, because there is a shift happening. And as you start, obviously, it's obvious, you know, it seems so obvious now. If you stop identifying with your lower self and you realize you're not just this limited fucking, you know, person that has been conditioned their whole life to believe and think a certain way, when you realize you're not that, you know, you start realizing what you are. And then when you realize you're not even that, and you realize you're kind of nothing, but everything at the same time, that's a whole fucking other breakthrough. Then you have to sort of live as lower self, higher self, and awareness. You're sort of shifting between all these states. You're flowing between all. You're not sort of anchored. It's not as if you get stuck in just awareness or stuck just in your lower self, because you flow between all. And other people, because as everything's a mirror, and if you're living in this, you know, you're in the pure consciousness, you know, as no ego, just as isness. When you're living like that, you can see that you're nothing, but you're everything at the same time. You know, so it's like a dichotomy. It's a constant paradox, because you can see all these states. You can see your lower self. And your lower self, I'm not just saying is just you. From that level of awareness, when you have no ego, it means that you don't see, it's not just like you. Your lower self then is every human. They're all, from an awareness perspective, all the humans are the same. Right? It's all one thing. It's all one mind, you could say. One awareness that is split up, is fragmented. It's like a little piece is in each soul. And then each soul is fragmented into a bunch of people, like a soul group. You know, and then, yeah, once you integrate all this shit, you understand that you're none of it and you're all of it. So that's crazy, right? But then that has to be unified, all three of them, because that's very tricky again. To unify the trinity? Fuck, I don't think anyone even gets to this stage. And you think, yeah, I'm done. That's it. You're never done, you know. So that's the mind-body-spirit complex. You're never done, because consciousness is always expanding. You were here as just pure awareness, discovering itself, expanding itself, growing, being, experiencing for you, for awareness. Because as a pure awareness, it can't do anything. It's just, it takes a back seat. You know, it's just the observer. It rescinds to witness, recedes to witness the absolute. So above the awareness, or not above, but beyond, is the absolute. That only happens when the trinity, you know, that mind, body, spirit, the lower self, higher self, pure awareness, mirroring consciousness, when all that is unified, when that trinity, when you can flow between all and not get locked in or identify with any state, that's when that will become unified. Then you will probably have an experience that will show you that even all that is not even you. You are beyond even that of which you are. Yeah, so like you're beyond all of creation.